everybody. Welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth, and this is the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program. It's our weekly attempt to discuss UNM athletics, what's going on and around the program, and the benefit of name, image, and likeness and our foundation, 505 SVF. First, I want to say thanks, as always, to Steve Davis, the boss here at ProView, up the stairs in his office, where we are in the studio overlooking Central Avenue in beautiful downtown Albuquerque. And behind the glass, my producer, Adrian Norwalk, the kid from California, does an incredible job putting up with me every week. I want to thank them both. Well, UNM fans, we're going to have a special guest, so we're going to talk pretty much Lobo football today. But it's just a reminder, we are in the midst of football portal. And we've seen what's happened. If you follow this, you know, I think UNM leads the country in players in the portal in wake of what happened with Bronco and that situation. Well, we've got a new boss, Jason Eck. I hope you've got to see him on social media, press conference, really outgoing, aggressive kind of guy. I think we're going to love him here. We will see him on this show in the near future, so hold on to that. But we need help. We need, through name, image, and likeness, to retain and recruit players for UNM football. So that's up to us, you, me, corporate New Mexico, but you, the individual. So it's easy to help. 505sports.org. 505sports.org. Check out the website. If you can contribute $5 a month, $10 a month, at $20 a month, we have a special program where we give you access to the website. It's up to you, New Mexico. So let's do it. 505sports.org. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with our guest talking some Lobo football. Stay right with us.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth. This is the 505 SVF program, and we're going to talk some Lobo football. I want to introduce our guest. Time here is short, and we always go over. So right away, I want to introduce Roger Holien. Roger, thanks for being here.
Appreciate it.
You guys are familiar with him if you watch ProView. Does play-by-play, Mountain West Conference writer. And has served in a role for years, off and on, depending on the coach, as a team chaplain for Lobo football. So before we get to the nuts and bolts, what's going on with the football program, I want to talk about that chaplain role. That's something that's really kind of behind the scenes. People don't know it. Let's talk about, before we get to the details, how did you get into that pastoring type situation? What's your background?
Well, of course, my dad was in the Air Force, so he got stationed here when I was like 12 years old. But I was actually born in Roswell, New Mexico. Okay. So I'm a native.
We won't hold that against you.
Yeah, right.
But
when I tell people,
New Mexican, son of Zia. Okay.
Yeah, when I tell them that, they go, that explains it. But anyway, my dad was in the Air Force. Of course, I'm a Highland High School graduate, 1979. I'm that old. My son, I married a woman with 4 kids. They were 10, 9, 8, and 7.
Wow.
I met Gail at 26. She was 30. She was single parenting at the ministry I work at. I work at a local nonprofit called Faith Comes by Hearing. Been there 39 years. And my son Daniel, basically I coached him in Yaffle. I coached him at West Mesa High School. That's when Don Woods was coaching there.
Okay.
Big Don, everybody knows him. NFL Player of the Year, 1975. And kind of watched him walk on to the university under Dennis Francione, which is the same year that Danny Gonzalez, the former head coach, he walked on from Valley. Daniel walked on from West Mesa. So got to watch them as a Lobo parent, season ticket holder for 20-something years after after it's all said and done. But the senior year, Daniel's senior year, was Brian Urlacher's junior year, and the team chaplain at the time. And the reason you don't hear about it, because it's not an official UNM position, it's a volunteer position.
Right.
So they're behind the scenes providing support. And, depending on the coach. But anyway, the chaplain was there, and he was moving, and he said, would you like to do that just to support the players? I said, sure. Little did I know I'd be there 25 years. I mean, I've been there a long time. Rocky, I met with Rocky Long, and Rocky, being Rocky, brought me in the office and said, I allow this on the team because it's important to a lot of people.
Good Rocky.
Yeah, I said, he was rough, but one of my favorite all-time coaches. I ended up traveling with the team. I would pay my own way because I'm not a official staff position. My church Legacy, which used to be Victor Love back then, but Legacy Church would pay for my airfare, and because the chapels are off university property, it's completely voluntary. Every football team has that. And basically, you get to talk to the players at a different level. Brian Urlacher's senior year was my first year, and I ended up doing all their chapels and travel with the team and got to meet Brian, and actually saw Brian 2 weeks ago. We've become very good friends. Little did I know he would get drafted.
Right, who knew?
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to my son, Daniel, hey, how's this kid from Lovington?
Yeah, right.
He goes, he's okay. He's all right. And
hey, one of the greatest Chicago Bears of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a Bear fan. My wife's from Chicago, my wife Gail. But Brian developed into a player at 6'3", 215, left at 6'4", 256, running a 4.5940 in the pro combine. The rest is history. I think the Bears put him an outside linebacker. Didn't work well. They put him inside, and the rest was history. But that role as a chaplain, basically it's a support role. You're just there for the players.
A major support role, because coaches can serve in part. Coaching means being a parent, especially of college. It's part of the deal.
Yeah.
But we have 100+ players who can, counting walk-ons. Mm-hmm. So the coaches can always interact, and that's not, let's face it, that kind of parenting is not their primary focus.
That's right.
So your role comes in. How did you get into that, though, before football? What brought you to the ministry type background in pastoral work?
Well,
what was that?
Basically, after high school, I graduated, went to UNM a couple years, and I got saved. I basically came to faith, got born again, and my heart kind of changed from academics. Not that it's not important, because it's very important, but my heart went to ministry. I started working at a local nonprofit.
Well, you were young.
Yeah, I was young. I was at 19 years old. And essentially, my heart was for God, for people, for the Word, and I just really had a real special love for the Lobos. I remember when I was 12 years old, My first Lobo game, they were in turquoise that year.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. My best friend, his dad was in the Air Force, and my dad was in the Air Force, took me to a Lobo game and watching them. And I was mesmerized. I thought these gigantic big men, right? Then my parents would end up moving near Girard and Lead when we were at Highland. I mean, it's like literally walking distance to the University Football Stadium. You know, I don't encourage this, but I would literally walk to the stadium 3 hours before a game and sneak in to get to a game. I don't encourage that.
You owe some money to you.
I owe UNM.
I think the statute of limitations run on that.
Yeah, and then the pit back then was rocking. The pit was that was the year 1979. The Make It Happen, Michael Cooper, and you couldn't hear yourself. It was just amazing. I've just always loved the Lobos. I love the Lord and love people, and I can't tell you how many parents would have come up to me and saying, "I'm so glad you are here in a support role for my son."
There you go. You cannot overemphasize that power of adult, whatever it is, coaching, the ministry. These kids are in a lot of pressurized situations. They have a lot on their mind. Mental health is really a big part of it. And what you do is, a major contributor. Anyway, that's part one. We've got some football to talk about. I'll be back with Roger. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Hey everybody, we're back. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm here with our special guest, Roger Holien, Mountain West writer, ProView, pastor. We've done a little talking about the ministry and the importance. And again, I can't overemphasize the importance of having adults who actually are outside football. That's part of it. You bring a different perspective than a coach saying you got to do this and this. You talk to them more one-on-one and as a friend and a counselor and adult. It brings a lot. Anyway, all right.
Appreciate it.
So, we appreciate you, and it's volunteer, guys. This is volunteer work, labor of love. All right, so let's go. Let's talk. We'll get to the new coach because we don't know him. We've just seen him a little bit, spent some time with him, and that'll be fun. When did you start with Rocky?
99, right around there, 99, 2000. It was the year they won 4 games.
Okay. Always tough.
Yeah, it was 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. Well, our buddy Bronco loved to discuss that, how he went up each year. And he's kind of selling the need to make progress, but also, let's face it, the difficulty in building a program. It does not happen overnight. And unfortunately for us, powers that be didn't really appreciate, I think, what Rocky had done. I mean,
no doubt, no doubt. I was there. I got to see the players, got to talk to them, greet them, and it's just amazing because you develop a relationship with these kids and their parents. I remember the Cooks, the walk-ons, the Cooks who ended up playing in the pros. Eric Cook,
Right,
And,
right.
Yeah, Eric is a younger son to Ryan. Ryan played for Dallas. These kind of guys. Rocky had a pipeline to La Cueva and West Mesa, Josh Bazinet, Nick Spiegel, and you run into these guys now, and they're great fathers and good business people, and it's just very rewarding to see beyond football, to see where they're at.
Well, that's what we don't want to use the word lightly, preach at 505. We want to retain and recruit and then recognize these student athletes, because for New Mexico, we want to keep them. Mm-hmm. We want to keep them connected. Even if they move away, we want them to understand or to feel protected, encouraged, coached, developed as adults, and it's super important. All right, so we had Rocky. What you stayed, but you've been involved after that.
Yeah, Rocky, and then of course Mike Loxley,
right.
And that was fun. 2 years. I'm exaggerating. It was tough. I remember playing Oregon, getting beaten 72-0, and you're at Oregon, and they come out, and you know you're in trouble. And this is one of those games Rocky would have never played. Rocky was really smart about, we can compete against them. We're not going to play them, because it would be devastating to our program.
Right.
And hence it did happen. I mean, we were shell-shocked for that. It was the first game of the year.
Yeah.
And then where you see players in the locker room, and Mike Loxley turns to me and goes, "Go ahead, Roger, pray with the team." I said, "Oh, thanks, brother." No, but anyway, seeing that, and then of course Bob Davie came, and you see one of the great things about being there so long is you see kind of this head coach is going to be dealing with this, and you want to meet with them to share with them vicariously. Coach, you can't do that here. You can do that here. This is permitted. Just be careful. That kind of thing. Just how our culture is in New Mexico, that kind of thing.
Well, that's super important. New Mexico culture is I'm not saying it's super special, but it's unique.
Yeah.
I've learned, I've been affiliated with UNM since '73, but I've lived here now for the last 3 years, and I've had to relearn a lot of what I believed about relationships and culture. And I love the New Mexico culture. I don't think we sell it hard enough. I don't think New Mexicans have aggressive enough attitude about how great it is here. But you and what you do, that's part of it. And these kids, like you said, you have these relationships that last forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting because when Coach Eck gave his presser Friday, I think I told you this off camera, but he made a comment to me that just kind of made me snap. He said, you come here and you got great facilities. You don't hear that out of the average New Mexican. And I remember Rocky telling me that when he was the head coach at San Diego State. We met up front. We had a little picture-taking thing, catching up and stuff. And he said, our facilities, our indoor was nicer than San Diego State's. I know people kind of bag and they get a little bit negative on what we don't have. We actually have a lot. Coach X even brought up the fact that we have an airport, so recruits can come in. I mean, see, he's coming from another school that doesn't have these things. So when you come here, you have to recognize what you have. Now, the culture's completely different. I saw Bob Davie had tremendous success, 2 9-4 seasons. One of the things he probably could have improved on is opening the team up a little bit more. When you close that team off, I remember a good friend of mine, he works for Provi, I won't mention his name. He had a conversation with him. He wouldn't mind anyway. But anyway, he said, "Bob, this isn't Notre Dame. You're going to have maybe 15 guys. You're not going to have 5,000 people at practice." So when you close the team off, fans at New Mexico I'm half Hispanic, I can say that. We have a passion for the players. We want to get to know them. We want to get close to them. That's how we come and root for them. That's a huge mistake as a coach. You have to open that team up so there's favorite players. And you saw that last year, the Mountain West Championship with House. I mean, people just loved House.
Well, yeah. Well, people loved him because he was passionate and he put it all out there.
Yeah.
And he also had maybe the 4 greatest consecutive days in UNM history.
Oh, absolutely.
He carried that team on his back
to
the Mountain West Championship and to the NCAA tournament. So and I want to talk a little more about a culture. We've got about a minute left in this segment, but these are our equivalent of our pro teams. These are our guys and gals. This is who they have the flag on them, and that's different than most places.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, this year you saw Bryce Santana from Las Lunas and Tyler Keeney.
Right.
Tyler, I go to church with his mom and dad. Tyler goes there as well, and had good conversations with him. These are kind of things that the strength of UNM Lobo football, basketball, is that closeness, allowing the players not to get so caught up in the bigness of the program, to actually take the time and say, hey, how are you doing today?
Thanks for
greeting
being
them.
here.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You know,
Amazing.
that kind of thing.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to sell you some more stuff. We'll be right back for our final segment with Roger. Stay with us.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Tough kid. Hey, everybody, we're back. Final segment for this week's 505 SVF show. Our buddy Roger Holien's here. We're talking Lobo football, the ministry, the importance of adults helping these kids get through the process. All right, so you were there. You're part of the press. Eck comes out. A whole different game. Like, I love Bronco. This is night and day different. What's your initial?
Yeah, Bronco's got more of a robotic personality. I mean, that's just his personality. But if you see Coach Eck, he's like completely night and day. What you see is what you get. I loved his frankness. I loved his enthusiasm. You can tell why players will play hard for him. And I said this on Twitter. I'll take substance over sexy any day. I don't care. The coach looks like a big offensive lineman. Give me a coach. Look at his resume.
Right.
And I was telling people on Twitter, look at what he did at Idaho. Look at the players. Look at the comments that people are making. What a great coach he's been. What a tremendous influence he's been in their life. Even the way the former players, they weren't like burnt about it. They were happy for him.
Yeah, the whole public, not just the players. If what you saw from the Idaho fans were, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us. Quite a different thing than what happened here.
And how about
I understand both sides of the Bronco issue, but let's face it, most fans, most supporters felt jilted. They had been kind of lied to.
Yeah, well, I think what hurt him was I was at the presser when he said it was pure speculation. 2 days later, he's
gone.
And that's kind of ouch. New Mexicans, they remember stuff like that. They probably can't wait till next year when they play Utah State. I promise you that. But just come out and say, you just come out and say, there's conversations that have taken place, and I'm going to keep my options open, and that's all I'll say about it. But completely different. It's kind of like it's water under the bridge now with Coach Eck coming in, and I hope his son comes there. He's tremendous players getting offers from Stanford and some big schools. I think the transfer portal is what you make of it, though. I'll give you an example.
Exactly.
My buddy Blake Anderson, who's the former head coach at Utah, he was a former Lobo under Rocky for 1 year, and I got close to Blake. He used to go to our chapels. He and I got real close. He ends up coaching Arkansas State, goes to Utah State. The first year, he took advantage of the transfer portal. Danny was a little bit more going old school like Rocky, developing high school guys. Third, fourth year, maybe they're going to help. Blake took it upon himself.
Go get players, huh?
Yeah, he won the Mountain West Championship, I believe. He got Mountain West Coach of the Year. Obviously, you know, he didn't work out there. He's now at Ole Miss, I think, at offensive coordinator. And it's just a carousal. That's how coaches are. They get new jobs. But I think this coach coming in is the real deal. He's a coach that's going to be easy to sell, in my opinion.
Yeah, I get that feeling too. I love the fact I got to spend some time with him before he accepted the job. I was a small part of the interview process. We've talked to him. We're working right away at 505 SVF to retain, and we're not going to make the announcement yet. We've pulled one player out of the portal. We're going to get a bunch more. Trust me. Again, 505sports.org. Help us out here.
Yes.
But I just love his personality. I don't know, who asked him, one of you guys asked him about dancing, because he had that video. And he basically said, for a 300-pound white guy, I'm a pretty good dancer. I don't want to miss.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
It really, really was funny. You know, something people don't notice, or I noticed, my wife noticed right away. We watched the presser, and she said, I love the fact that it has kids. Something happens. You see with Patino when they have, you know, with Jack.
Right.
And there's something different about coaches that come with a package deal. I believe they're more committed because they don't want to uproot their families. They consider the schools they're putting them in versus the coaches that, you know, I'm an empty nester. My kids are up, you know. But it's different if you take a job because you're easy. You can, you know, so having a good wife, support system.
Well, his wife, Kimberly, is part of the whole deal, clearly. Yeah. And it's funny, we asked because they have 5 kids. Yeah. They have a 22-year-old and a 4-year-old. And she said the first 4 were boys. So she said, okay, I want to have one more. She wanted a girl. She told me the story. She said, but if it's a boy, you have a whole offensive line. So, and there came Lola, who was in her Lobo cheerleading outfit at the presser. Anyway, so we saw Bronco win 5 games, go 5-7. We all thought it was a pretty successful year. Here, a break here or there, you're bowl eligible. Now, we lose a quarterback. We lose the best Albuquerque player, Luke Weissong, theoretically. I hope not, but she looks like he's gone. And we play UCLA and Michigan on the road next year. Is it fair to try to hope for a bowl-eligible season in year 1? What do you think?
Well, I think you want to reach high and see what you can do. I mean, you just have to have one game over 500. You know, those games.
500. We play 12 games. I think 6 and 6.
We'll see. It depends on the staff they bring in, and he's got a successful staff he's bringing in. I think the strength and conditioning program. As a matter of fact, I have a good buddy, Derek Baker, who was the strength and conditioning coach for Danny. He's still in town. He was interested in that job, but Coach Atkins is going to bring his strength and conditioning.
Right.
Yeah, bring his guy in, which is pretty common.
Right.
I tell you what, I'm excited. I love going to Lobo games, and I love rooting for them. And it's been a tough few years emotionally. You feel like your heart ripped out sometimes. And but I'm a cup half full kind of guy.
Right. Gotta be.
Good players are everywhere.
Right.
I know Devin's great.
Right.
But do you know how many players I've seen come through the program?
Right.
I've seen Stoney Case for Francione, 10,000 yards.
Well,
there's good players everywhere.
They're out there. All right, Roger, I want to say thanks. It's great to have you. We're going to have you back. Hey, Lobo fans, next year Utah State's coming into town to play football.
Wow.
That'll be a big one. Anyway, 505sports.org. Anything helps. Check out the website. Grab me at a Lobo game. Whatever you can do to help. We need to do this here. We need to be successful for all of us. The Lobos, UNM, the state, you and me. I'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging with us.
Awesome. Good job.